Oh, we've talked about so many of them already. I guess as you contemplate whether you're going to go through the divorce and which process is best, I also really, I know I'm the finance person, but I think you take care of yourself too, because, make sure you're getting good sleep, make sure that, you're eating well and things like that, because the emotional part of this process will cloud your judgment. And that's why Nicole and I are on your team to be able to help clarify for you, but it's also really important to us to make sure that you're well, because the process of divorce is one thing, but we want to make sure that, we always call it the next chapter. We want to make sure that next chapter is as good as it can be for you after the divorce is final. Do you want me to toss it? Okay, I'll toss it to Lydia.
Gosh, I have several kernels, I guess, of wisdom. But I think what I'm going to come out with, at the risk of offending Joe, but Joe, we're all friends here. What I say to everyone who I meet who is contemplating divorce, or even going in the process, is that if you want to have the most control of your divorce process and the pace of your divorce, do not file first. As in, do not do what traditionally is what's recommended, which is go to an attorney. And I will say, by all means, go to an attorney, consult with an attorney, consult with 3, but do not jump the gun to actually file for your divorce and get the courts involved. Because once the court is involved, you have lost control of the pacing. You then will have, in my case, it was every 30 days, a hearing or some sort of check-in, which requires your attorney to respond. And you may not have anything happen within that 30-day period. It takes time to figure out whether it's what we're doing for a parenting schedule, parenting plan, finances. So that's I think the most important thing. Second thing, it takes a village, takes a team. And that doesn't mean you have to do it from a collaborative divorce perspective or a mediation, but just in life. So as Mary Beth pointed out, as part of your self-care, have a team behind you and make sure some of those people at least can be objective, neutrals, therapist, priest, someone, right? So that you have varying degrees of information and advice coming your way. I'll toss it to Joe. So you can rebut.
Oh, no. I would echo to some extent what Lydia said. You're never going to have more control over how your divorce ends than if the 2 of you come to an agreement, right? Because otherwise somebody else is going to impose a solution on you.
Right.
But as far as my kernels of wisdom, number 1, you should have a plan. It doesn't have to be a great plan, but you should have a plan. Even a mediocre plan is better than no plan. I mean, if you don't know where you're going, you're never going to get there. And the second thing, to echo what Mary Beth said, this is going to be a marathon, not a sprint. The process is emotional. There are things that are going to come at you out of left field that you didn't anticipate. So rather than get swallowed up by the quicksand, you need to learn to dance on the shifting carpet to some extent. If you go back to ancient history, the Spartans facing off against the Persian army. At one point, the Persian ambassador says, our arrows are going to blot out the sun. And the Spartan responds with, then we'll fight in the shade. You have to be willing to roll with the punches and not let things upset you inordinately, and realize that to some extent, whoever can endure the longest is probably going to get the upper hand, at least in a litigation scenario. So if you're somebody that Nicole referred to who is on the short end of the power dynamic, and tends to get steamrolled or bullied by their spouse, you're going to want to pick an advocate or someone who can really push back for you.
Right.
So that's something to consider as well. But have a plan, and get ready to jump around a little bit. Don't be the pillar that's so rigid that it breaks when the first wave hits it.
Those are all great kernels of wisdom. I guess with mine, I echo everything you all have said and I can never remember who said this, so I'm not even going to try to attribute it to the person, but you know what? When you're going through a divorce, don't look backwards. You're not going that way. So even though you are, maybe if you're talking with your therapist or even your family or whatever, sure, you're going to remember the good times, the bad times, the things like that. But with the divorce, you want to try to say, I agree 100% what Joe just said, is you need to have a plan. And there's going to be different aspects of that plan. Mary Beth and I always say with your team or the divorce, it's like a three-legged stool. There's the legal, there's the financial, and then there's the emotional or mental health aspects. And so regardless of the process that you're choosing to use for your divorce, again, generally speaking, it really will behoove you and benefit you to have the right people on your team. You know, as Mary Beth alluded to, neither she nor I, you know, I mean, I'll speak for myself. I had one psychology class in college. So, you know, we're not trained on the mental health aspects. Certainly, again, we had one business law. And then the same thing, you know, now Joe does have a mental health background, but generally speaking, right, you have your people who are in their lane and that's what they stay abreast on, and what are the current trends, the current laws, and what do they eat, live, and breathe every day. So we have found that the clients who come out the most whole is they have a team to address each leg of their stool. And generally speaking, they allow themselves or allow their team to guide them to look forward. What's next? What, you know, and you may not know, and it'd be, you know, most times people don't say, oh, here, Nicole, here's my PowerPoint of what my next 10 years are going to look like. They're like, holy cow, I don't know where I'm going to be living next week, versus you want my expenses in 10 years. But the more you start to write things down and you just kind of, I know what Mary Beth and I do in our planning purposes, we start to kind of build guardrails or like ranges. And then as you progress, we can start to narrow that band. And it's really just you helping guide you to understand when you have your attorney and they're, you know, Joe's getting you the best settlement possible. That's his job, is to get you divorced. And then he's not going to be there to say, should I stay in the house? Can I afford to refinance? You know, I need to pay for 20% of college. How am I going to do that? Right? Do I need to work? And things like that. And then the same thing, you know, with Lydia, if you're looking, you know, I'm going to start dating again, or, you know, one of the kids is getting married. So it's having that team both during the divorce and then ongoing as you move forward. So regardless of how you get divorced, really be thoughtful about who you surround yourself with and have professionals with the various areas of expertise, and those who predominantly, doesn't have to be solely, but predominantly operate in the divorce arena. So that's my kernel. I apologize, I went on a little longer.
Well, no, all of the kernels of wisdom were great. So I want to wrap things up. So I'm going to say thank you to Joe and to Lydia for joining us this afternoon. And we're very grateful for your willingness to share your thoughts and your expertise. We hope that all of you out there have gained the knowledge that you were looking for, and hopefully eased your mind and are better equipped to move forward with whatever path is best for you. If you would like a complimentary 30-minute consultation or have a specific question, please contact us. You have the information to contact us with our email addresses on your screen. And then we regularly host these events. As Nicole mentioned at the beginning of our presentation, Project Venus was started for women, but in this COVID world, we are extending this to anybody that you feel that can benefit from, you know, these kind of sessions. And to that end, our next session will be on November 10th, again at 12 noon, and we are going to be focusing on that very important issue for many in the divorce process, which is what to do with the house. And so we're going to have a mortgage broker as well as a real estate agent who is also certified in divorce situations, join us for that particular session. So please let us know if you'd like to have us, have you join us. We'll make sure that you get the registration information. So enjoy the rest of your day and your week. And again, thanks Joe and Lydia for being here with us, and to all of you.
Thank you.
Bye,
Thank you.
everybody.
Pleasure. Thank you.